Hi, boys and girls. Welcome to Writing Workshop. Today we are going to learn about folk tales. So, we're going to read this book that is a folk tale and we're going to talk about it. So, folk tales tell stories of how things came to be, even though they may not always be completely true about how they actually happened. So, we're going to read this story and we're going to stop during the story at certain points and I'm going to ask you questions. So, make sure that you are paying attention. It's called Why the Sun and the Moon Live in the Sky. And this is the picture. Why the sun and the moon live in the sky. Many years ago, the sun and water were great friends, and both lived on earth together. The sun very often used to visit the water, but the water never returned his visits. At last, the sun asked the water why it was that he never came to see him in his house. The water replied that the sun's house was not big enough, and that if he came with his people, he would drive the sun out. So, who are the main characters in this story? And how are they different from characters in other stories? Interesting. The water then said, "If you wish me to visit you, you must build a very large house, but I warn you that it will have to be a very large place, as my people are very numerous and take up a lot of room." The sun promised to build a very large house, and soon afterwards he returned to his wife, the moon, who greeted him with a broad smile. The sun told the moon what he had promised the water, and the next day began building a large house in which to entertain his friend. When it was completed, he asked the water to come and visit him. When the water arrived, one of his people called out to the sun and asked him whether it would be safe for the water to enter, and the sun answered, "Yes, tell my friend to come in." The water then began to flow in, accompanied by the fish and all the water animals. Very soon the water was knee-deep, so he asked the sun if it was still safe. And the sun again said, "Yes." So more of them came in. When the water was level with the top of a man's head, the water said to the sun, "Do you want more of my people to come?" And the sun and the moon both answered, "Yes," not knowing any better. So the water's people flowed on until the sun and the moon had to perch themselves on top of the roof. Why did the sun and the moon end up perched on the roof? I want you to pause this video and tell whoever you're working with today, why did the sun and the moon have to end up on the roof? Good job. Again, the water addressed the sun. He received the same answer, so more of his people rushed in. The water very soon overflowed the top of the roof, and the sun and the moon were forced to go up into the sky, where they have remained ever since. So now, where did the sun and the moon go next? Why did they go there? I want you to pause this video right now. Tell whoever you're working with, where did the sun and the moon go and why? Awesome job. I hope that you said that they went into the sky. Because just like in real life, the sun and the moon are in the sky. This is just a folk tale, so it's a realistic folk tale. So the sun and the moon really are up high and the water really is down low, but they kind of showed it in a very silly way, didn't they? So, what does this story try to explain? Right. Why the sun and the moon are in the sky. They said that they think that the sun and the moon are in the sky because the water just overflowed everything. So they had to fly up to the sky. So I want you today in your writing journal to write some examples that you want to know. So, just like why the sun and the moon are in the sky, they wondered and they wrote a story about it. I want you to come up with your own. So, for example, you could do, why does a snake have no legs? I want you to come up with your own that you are wondering about, but I want it to be about nature, about something outside that you just don't know the answer to. That would be a super cool topic of a folk tale.